A little girl at the center of history. Don't ever let anybody stop you from your dreams. In the early 1940s, in the rich agricultural fields of Southern California, an 8-year-old girl was about to make history without even knowing it. Her name was Sylvia Mendez, and her simple desire to attend a nearby school became the spark for a landmark civil rights case. Denied entry to a whites-only school because of her heritage, Sylvia's family refused to accept second-class treatment. Their courage led to Mendez v. Westminster, 1947, a case that struck down school segregation in California and laid the groundwork for the more famous Brown v. Board of Education 7 years later. Early life and family roots. Sylvia was born on June 7, 1936, in Santa Ana, California, to Gonzalo and Felicitas Mendez. Her parents came from different but equally determined immigrant backgrounds. Gonzalo had been born in Chihuahua, Mexico, and moved to the United States as a child. Felicitas was born in Puerto Rico and came to the mainland as a young girl. Both parents knew the value of hard work. Gonzalo labored as a tenant farmer, leasing land to grow crops like asparagus. The Mendez family dreamed of giving their children a better future, and they knew education was the key. By the 1940s, California was home to many Mexican-American families who worked long hours in the fields. Yet despite contributing so much to the economy, they were often treated as outsiders. Segregation in schools reflected that divide. Life in segregated California schools. California law didn't officially mandate separate schools for Mexican-American children the way Jim Crow laws did for black children in the South. Instead, segregation was enforced through local school boards and customs. Mexican schools were usually old, overcrowded buildings with limited supplies. Many were set up in makeshift facilities, converted barns, shacks, or poorly maintained classrooms near the fields. They often lacked playgrounds, proper heating, or updated textbooks. The stated reason for the separation was that Mexican-American children needed to learn English before joining white schools. In reality, most of them, including Sylvia, already spoke fluent English. The real motive was racial prejudice, reinforced by the belief that Mexican children belonged to a lower social class. Meanwhile, the white schools were clean, modern, and well-funded, with smaller classes and better resources. For parents like the Mendezes, the contrast was glaring and deeply unjust. In 1943, Sylvia's father, Gonzalo, tried to enroll his children in the 17th Street School, the closest school to their home in Westminster, California. But the principal refused to admit Sylvia and her brothers. Instead, the children were directed to the inferior Hoover Elementary School, designated for Mexican-American children. Adding insult to injury, the children of Sylvia's aunt, who had lighter skin and a French surname, were admitted to 17th Street School on the very same day. The only difference was appearance and heritage. This blatant discrimination fueled Gonzalo and Felicitas' determination. They would not let their children, or any other Mexican-American child, be denied an equal education. Gonzalo Mendez teamed up with 4 other Mexican-American fathers, Thomas Estrada, William Guzman, Frank Palomino, and Lorenzo Ramirez. Together, they filed a class action lawsuit against 4 Orange County school districts: Westminster, Garden Grove, El Medina, and Santa Ana. The case, Mendez v. Westminster School District of Orange County, was filed in federal court in 1945. With the help of civil rights attorney David Marcus and support from the League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, the families argued that segregating children based on ethnicity violated the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. The courtroom battle. The school districts defended segregation by claiming Mexican-American children needed special instruction in English and hygiene. But the plaintiffs presented powerful evidence. Many Mexican-American children, like Sylvia, already spoke English fluently and excelled academically. Judge Paul J. McCormick, presiding over the U.S. District Court, was struck by the irrationality of the segregation policy. In February 1946, he ruled in favor of the Mendez family. He declared that, "A paramount requisite in the American system of public education is social equality, and that segregating Mexican-American children was unconstitutional." The ruling marked the first time in U.S. history that a federal court struck down school segregation. The school districts appealed, but in 1947, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit upheld the decision. The victory had immediate consequences. Then Governor Earl Warren, who would later become Chief Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, signed legislation repealing California's segregation laws. This made California the first state to officially end school segregation. The case also became a legal blueprint for Brown v. Board of Education, 1954. Civil rights groups like the NAACP paid close attention, and future Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall filed a supportive brief. 7 years later, Brown used similar arguments to end segregation nationwide. Sylvia's experience after integration: although the ruling allowed Sylvia to attend the 17th Street School, integration was not easy. Some white parents objected to the decision, and Sylvia recalled facing hostility from classmates. Yet she pushed forward, determined to succeed. Her perseverance paid off. Sylvia went on to build a successful career as a registered nurse, serving for more than 30 years in healthcare. A lifetime of advocacy. In adulthood, Sylvia became a powerful advocate for educational equity and civil rights history. She traveled the country sharing her family's story, making sure the landmark case was not forgotten. Her work was widely recognized. In 2011, President Barack Obama awarded her the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. Schools, libraries, and community centers have since been named after her and her family, ensuring the next generation knows their story. Legacy and lessons. Sylvia Mendez's childhood fight for justice reminds us that history is often shaped not just by famous leaders, but by ordinary families who refuse to accept injustice. The Mendez family's bravery opened the door for millions of children to attend better schools, proving that equality must be defended at every level of society. Her story also highlights the role of Latinos in the broader civil rights movement, a history sometimes overlooked but deeply important. Sylvia continues to remind audiences of her parents' words: "Don't ever let anybody stop you from your dreams." Conclusion. Today, Sylvia Mendez's name stands as a symbol of courage, resilience, and the power of family determination. She began as a little girl barred from a classroom, and she grew into a woman who made sure countless others could walk freely into theirs. Her journey from exclusion to empowerment is a reminder that the fight for justice can start with one small voice, and that even a child can help change America. Thanks everybody for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel and see you soon.